Is someone typing?
Sari, go ahead and share the order of service slide 2.
Every time I feel this way, this old familiar sinking, I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. I'm gonna let myself be lifted
And now Jen Bookwald will ring our bell, church bell, but she has to unmute herself. Wait a second here. We are not hearing you. There you go. There you go. We're good.
Good morning, and welcome to our Sunday morning worship service at Theodore Parker Church. My name is Lisa Handelman, and I've been a member of Theodore Parker Church for several years. As we begin our service today, we want to acknowledge that our church was built on the ancestral, unceded land of the Massachusetts people. We acknowledge the devastating legacy of settler colonialism and the continuing harm done to indigenous groups in our community and beyond. May our commitment to justice, equity, and compassion call us to take meaningful, restorative action to honor and protect the land and all her people. We come together to recognize again and celebrate the gift of life for ourselves and for all the creatures with whom we share this planet. For the miracle of every breath, with wonder in our joys and compassion in our sorrows. We invite all of you to bring your perspectives, your beliefs and doubts, and all that is unique and wondrous about you to our service. In the spirit of love, all are welcome here. If you are new or visiting today, feel free to follow the link in the chat box to our administrator, Alyssa Halliday, and leave us your contact information. You might like to sign up for our weekly e-news, which Alyssa can help with. We invite you all to visit our website at tparkerchurch.org. An accessibility note: we are using Zoom's auto transcription feature to offer live captions as subtitles throughout today's service. While not perfect, we hope they'll make the service more accessible. If you're on a computer and would prefer not to see the captions, look to the button on Zoom's bottom menu that says Live Transcript. Click the little upward-facing arrow and select Hide Subtitle. If you missed something that was said during the service, you can also go to that menu and click Read Full Transcript. We hope that each of you will find some comfort to carry with you over the week and some challenge for your thoughts. As always, we wish for each of you health, well-being, and a sense of peace. Welcome.
Today, for our prelude, offertory, and postlude, Yukiko has brought us 3 special pieces from jazz pianist, educator, and composer Ran Blake. Yukiko tells Reverend Joe that Mr. Blake has become a friend and mentor to her, especially since the pandemic. So it's especially sweet to be able to share his music. The prelude and offertory were both written very early on in Blake's musical career, which has spanned more than 50 years. We thank Yukiko for sharing his music with us today and for bringing us into worship with the piece called Breakthrough. Whether we chalk it up to chaos theory or to the adage, ministers plan and God laughs, sometimes things don't go as planned. Reverend Joe had a really fun question box service planned for today, but she woke up with laryngitis and no speaking voice. Nothing serious and not COVID, just a regular cold. My name is Ruth Kahn, and I'm pinch hitting for Reverend Joe today, reading aloud from our worship script in her place. We've set aside the question box service for another Sunday, and this morning we'll explore the spiritual practice of gratitude. Just this week, the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, released 2 Thanksgiving-related videos as a gift that our congregations can use freely in worship. So today, we'll gather round our cups of hot tea or cold water and warm hearts to give thanks for all that is our life. So let's call ourselves and each other to worship with these words from Reverend Kathy Ryan Stahl. Welcome to this place of peace. May we find some moments of quiet contemplation. Welcome to this place of celebration. May our hearts soar with gratitude for the gift of life. Welcome to this place of sacred love. May we gently hold all that is broken here. Welcome to this place of inquiry. Here, may we be challenged to open our hearts and minds ever wide. Come to this place of community. May we together draw the circle of love and justice ever wider. Welcome to this sacred place. Come, let us worship, celebrate, grieve, and love together. Our opening hymn this morning is We Laugh, We Cry. It was written by beloved UU musician Shelley Jackson Denham. Shelley served for many years as the director of worship at the Mountain UU Retreat Center in Highlands, North Carolina, and several of her hymns are included in our Gray hymnal. Shelley passed away suddenly in 2013, but her legacy lives on with hymns that celebrate building beloved community. Our music this morning includes Yukiko on piano and Reverend Joe on vocals, recorded yesterday before her voice was gone. Let's join in singing together.
We need to feel so shall we die. And when our lives are done, the memories we shared with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow, we have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see even to question truly is an answer.
Thank you, Reverend Joe and Yukiko. Reverend Joanna will light our flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, as Beth and Mark Brower read our chalice lighting words. The words will appear in the chat, and you're invited to say them along with the Bowers.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
And now in Spanish, remembering our friends in our sister community of Plazuelas, El Salvador. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio es nuestra oración. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Our story this morning was picked out by our own Joel Neiditz and is called Please Please the Bees by Gerald Kelly.
Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Rashida Jones, and today I'm going to read Please Please the Bees, written and illustrated by Gerald Kelly. Benedict was a creature of habit. He liked to do the same thing every day. Every morning, he woke up at the same time. Every morning, he stretched, he scratched, he yawned a great yawn. Every morning, the bees delivered 3 jars full of honey. Benedict ate the same breakfast he'd eaten since he was just a fuzzy cub, toast with honey and tea with extra honey. Next came his daily routine, practicing, perfecting his honey cake recipe, knitting, and running errands. At night, he'd read, then have one last cup of honey tea before bed. Life was sweet. Until one morning, things weren't the same. In fact, something terribly unsame had happened. There was no more honey. The bees had gone on strike. Benedict's breakfast wasn't the same without honey. Without his honey tea, he couldn't knit. Practice was dreadful. He didn't even bother with the errands. Benedict became deeply discouraged. Just then, he heard someone say, "Hey you, in the fur coat." It was a very small bee with a remarkably loud voice. "We need to talk," said the bee. "Talk?" grumbled Benedict. "I let you all live in my yard. All I ask for is a few jars of honey. You should be grateful, not go on strike." "A few jars," said the bee. Buddy, we deliver 3 jars of honey to you every day, every month, every year. Do the math, Einstein. The hive is a wreck, the bee continued. It's all we can do to keep the walls from falling in. The roof leaks. Wind blows through the cracks. The last 3 queens up and quit on us because of the lousy work conditions. The bee showed Benedict the garden. Look, the bee said, weeds everywhere. We have to fly miles away just to find enough flowers to make our honey. So we voted to strike. You're taking us for granted, the bee declared. You want honey? Things need to change. It's up to you, Bear. And with that, the very small bee flew off. The thought of losing his honey sent a chill down Benedict's spine. He had a lot to think about. Maybe I've been too selfish, Benedict said to himself. I never thought about what the bees need, but how am I going to make this right? So he did some research. He did a little shopping. And he did a lot of work. Benedict even learned how to harvest honey. I suppose it's a bit rude to expect them to do it all themselves, he thought. Finally, he was ready to show the bees all the work he'd done. What would they think? He held his breath as he waited. Then he heard the remarkably loud voice of the very small bee. Drop the signs, girls. Time to get back to work. These days, Benedict is still a creature of habit. He still has his daily routine, but he doesn't take the honey for granted anymore. He knows his life is sweet. But now, it's even sweeter. For everyone. The end. I really enjoyed this book because it's all about being able to live with each other and respect each other and give and take, because that's the best part about being in a community, is being able to live together and have everybody's life be sweet at the same time. Thank you for watching Storyline Online. Make sure to watch all our other stories.
We center our hearts and minds with the song Return Again, written by Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. The song has 2 parts. You can cycle between them to have it sound like a round, or you can pick the one that speaks most to you and stick with it. We'll be led in video by Reverend Joe and UU musician Matt Beyer.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Join with us.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Return to who you are.
Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your
Oh, thank you so much, Reverend Joanna and Matt Murphy. A cappella, that was incredibly brave of you, especially with the technology that we're using these days. Wonderful. We now come to a time of quiet meditation. Reverend Susan Frederick Gray offers us this guided meditation on gratitude. It's on the longer side, about 10 minutes, long enough to really sink into the practice. Here now is Reverend Susan Frederick Gray.
I invite you, as you are willing, into this time of meditation and reflection and into this practice of gratitude. If you like to write as a way of reflection, feel free to grab a journal or a piece of paper or something to write with. It's also okay just to find a comfortable position to sit in or stand in or whatever is most comfortable for you and your body, to help you feel at ease. First, I invite you to take a few relaxing breaths. In and out. Feel free to close your eyes if that is most comfortable, or to leave them gently open. Breathe in a way that feels comfortable and relaxing. I invite you at first just to pay attention to your body. If there's a place of tension or pain, imagine breathing your breath into that part of your body. Imagine the breath sort of expanding that area of tension and then breathing out through that pain or tightness, feeling the muscles release with the out breath. With breathing in, sort of expand your attention in any area of tension. Breathe out through that area, letting the tension go. Breathing in through areas of tension and out, letting go of that tension or pain if you can. Now I invite you to bring your attention to your heart space, to your chest, maybe your abdomen if you prefer. Again, just gentle breaths, breathing that feels natural and relaxing. And just be aware of anything that you're feeling. If you're feeling joy or calm and peace. If you're feeling sadness or grief or anxiousness, just be aware of it. Breathe alongside that feeling. Offer yourself compassion for whatever may be present to you right now. As you continue to breathe, ask yourself if there's anything or anyone you are feeling grateful for. Just ask yourself in your heart, what or who are you grateful for? Is there anyone who's caring for you, showing you care, inspiring you, comforting you? Anyone who you love, who you are grateful for? Hold that person, those people. Visualize them, hold them in the gratitude that you feel for them. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude. Breathe out that gratitude for those loved ones. I invite you to just take a few more breaths. And as you do so, I invite you to think about anything about this day, anything that's happened, anything that you're looking forward to. If you have a window nearby, maybe you can see some sky or sun or tree or rain. Just be present to that. Take it in. Hold in your attention anything that you are grateful for from this day, that you're grateful to be looking forward to in this day. Anything that's present to you right now. I'm giving thanks for the sunshine after so much rain. Just hold that gratitude and that attention in your heart, in your mind, as you breathe in and out gently. Take a few more breaths and imagine just opening your heart space wide and asking if there's anything else you're grateful for. Their friends or community, faith, connections that you appreciate and feel attentive to. To open your heart to other things then in your life in this moment that you are feeling grateful for. Hold those in your attention. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude. Breathe in imagining or holding in your mind those people, those things, those connections. Breathe in that gratitude. It's also okay if some of our relationships are mixed with other emotions besides gratitude. Be present to that. Breathe it in.
I don't wish I hope that.
As you continue to breathe, just take a moment to hold in your attention all these connections, all these relationships, all these gifts that you are grateful for. Bring them to your attention again together. Breathe in the gratitude you feel. Breathe out gratitude across those connections. As you are ready, as you continue to just breathe gently, you can bring your attention back to this time, to your body, to each other gathered in meditation. And as we close, and as you breathe gently, maybe offer a word in silence or out loud or spoken, just a word of gratitude for these gifts. Blessed be, and amen.
Call for an offering. Generosity is a spiritual practice in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that, together, we have enough. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a meditative moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. An offering to sustain this congregation of memory and hope will now be gratefully received. Thank you. am I not to be blessed by crisp gypsy and moonlit shadows at the edge of night-darkened oak trees? I see it across sunny pathways, in the buzzing of insects, amongst the flowering forest greenery. I hear it from the touch of one's loved, the embraces of those gone before me. I feel it in the poems I love dearly, the songs that speak to my heart, the sculpture that catches my imagination, the discovery still to be made. I sense it. It is in the fire of distant suns, the cool drip of waters, the slight chill in the breeze, the laughter of children, no matter what their age, old and young, grown and still small. It is the breath of life, the stardust of souls, the magic of remembrance. Who am I not to surrender to it in gratitude? Who am I not to be blessed?
Dear ones, I'm going to be honest with you. For me, these past few months have been rough. As the pandemic wears on, I have experienced a level of exhaustion I have not known before. And it's not just the pandemic, it's witnessing the devastating impacts of widespread disinformation, the attacks on our democracy, the attacks on people's lives and rights. It's the attack on women's rights and reproductive health. And it is living through the increasingly frequent impacts of climate change. It has all been so much. And there is still so much grief at the loss of loved ones, family members, friends, and the nearly incalculable loss of so many lives to this pandemic. The despair is real. If you are feeling it, I want you to know you are not alone. I knew this in-between or liminal time would be more difficult than the early days of the pandemic, but I didn't really appreciate how it would feel in my body and spirit. But here's the thing that is saving me now. I have found myself out of necessity turning towards gratitude. As we enter this season of holidays and holy days, we have an opportunity to draw our attention to what sustains us, to draw our attention to the sources of love and care and gratitude in our lives. However you celebrate, holidays are a time that, and the rituals that surround them, are an opportunity for reflection. They often invite us to remember our past, which can bring joy as well as sorrow. But they also remind us to be attentive to the present moment. The writer and activist Adrienne Maree Brown writes, "I have had to soften my grip on a fearful future narrative and return to the humility of the present." I have had to soften my grip on a fearful future narrative and return to the humility of the present. Spiritually, in my daily practice, I am leaning into gratitude and attention to the sustaining present moment because I need a way to get in touch with the sources of joy and compassion in my life. Joy and compassion are life-sustaining. We are made for joy and compassion. Leaning into gratitude for this earth, gratitude for the relationships that sustain me, leaning into the presence of love that surrounds me and all of us, leaning into the gift that is present with each breath of life. This practice is bringing more joy and light into my spirit. Gratitude is a foundation for so many of the values and qualities that we hope to nurture. Gratitude helps us appreciate our loved ones and bring more care and attention to that which matters most. With time and consistency, practicing gratitude does nurture more joy in life. It makes us attentive to the beauty and the gifts that surround us and that are not of our own making. Gratitude helps us turn our unrealized desires to an appreciation of what we already have, and for what Adrienne Marie Brown describes as the humility of the present. Gratitude is a foundation for touching the earth with reverence, a practice of seeing life and the beauty of creation as a gift and treating it as such. Practicing gratitude, being intentional in taking time to name what we are grateful for, also reminds us of our fundamental interdependence. When I ask myself, what am I grateful for? I think of the people that I love and who love me. I think of the relationships that sustain me. I think of my sweet dog and how much I love him, how grateful I am for his presence in our family. I think of the gift of the earth. I open my attention and give thanks for the blue sky or the rain, for the trees and the sun, for the wind and the life-giving water. I remember the fundamental interdependence in which I am held, in which all life is held. And I feel that as a source of strength and connection. One of the things I love most about gratitude is that it's concrete. We all know what gratitude means. We know what it is to feel thankful. On the one hand, gratitude is simple and clear. However, when we really foster an intentional practice of being mindful every day, of taking time every day to think about what we are grateful for, to think about the gifts that have come to us and sustain us, we realize that gratitude actually has the power to deeply change our perspective. It has the power to shape and reshape our communities and our culture. Gratitude is incredibly powerful. Gratitude is a concrete practice that with time unlocks a generosity of spirit and a generosity of love. Experiencing our interconnectedness, experiencing the ways that we are not isolated beings, but deeply connected and held by gifts not of our own making, inspires a generosity of spirit for ourselves and for others. It inspires a desire to nurture those connections with love, to pay more attention to what matters. So I am calling myself back to gratitude these days. I am calling myself back to a practice of gratitude to find my way through the grief and the fear and the struggle and the despair. Now, to be clear, this practice of gratitude doesn't make our grief or my grief go away. And it doesn't mean I don't still have moments of fear and anger or feel gripped by despair. Intentional spiritual practice actually makes space for all of us to welcome whatever is present in our hearts. And gratitude reminds me that that is not all that life holds for me. There are so many ways to create a regular practice of gratitude. I know people who have gratitude journals who spend a little time each day writing down 1 or 2 or 3 things that they were grateful for from that day. Many years ago, I had a practice where every time I would cross the threshold of my home, either to leave or to come back home, as I crossed the threshold, I would pause and take a breath, and I would recall something that I was grateful for from the day or from the morning. These days, I am making time in my morning practice to ask myself what I am grateful for and to open my heart to those gifts. When our spirits are worn and weary from grief and loss and fear and anger, which legitimately our spirits are rightfully weary. When we are too short with ourselves or others, too impatient or critical or negative with ourselves or others, gratitude can be a practice that nurtures in us a generosity of spirit, a generosity of kindness. So much right now seeks to isolate us, to divide us, to wear us out and wear us down. Turning towards a concrete practice of gratitude helps combat the ways in which we are being called to isolation and division, because gratitude actually turns us toward each other. Reminds us of our interconnectedness, which is so critically, spiritually needed in our world these days. I know there are times in our lives when our despair and our grief is so great that we may not be able to even name one thing we are grateful for. I know those days are real. However, I also know that even if nothing comes, that just calling our attention to look for things we are grateful for helps open our eyes, our attention, our spirits, so that with time, we can become more aware of the gifts around us. Gratitude and practicing gratitude each day has been saving me. It's been reminding me of joy. It's been inspiring in me more joy, compassion, pleasure, humility. It's been reminding me of the gifts that are present in each moment. And finally, I want to say how grateful I am for all of you, and how grateful I am for this faith that we share. This faith that nurtures and sustains and holds me in these days. My prayer for you, my offering for you, I pray that there may be more moments of gratitude and joy in your days. And know that we are, all of us, deeply connected by unseen but real threads of compassion, of humanity and care, and that this is a source of strength and love in our lives. Blessings to you, blessed be, and I love you.
Our closing hymn this morning is For All That Is Our Life. Its lyrics were written by Bruce Findlow, a 20th century British Unitarian minister. Its music is by Patrick L. Rickey, a prolific composer and pianist from Oakland, California. We'll be led by musicians from Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins, Colorado. Let's join in singing along with them as we give thanks for all that is our life.
thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Following our postlude, which is one final piece from Rand Blake, we'll have some time in breakout rooms for some social time to connect with one another. We share these beloved closing words from Reverend Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love, its profession of faith, divine living.
Hello everyone, Reverend Joanna here via a text-to-speech app. I'm using a British voice just for fun, so you can say you went to church led by a British robot. Many thanks to everyone who helped make today's service possible. Ruth, Lisa, Sarah, Beth, Mark, Yukiko, and Joel. I'm setting up breakout rooms now, if you'd like to stay for about 15 minutes of check-ins and connections with each other.